Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Random Musings from the Clinical Trials Guru. I got Danielle Coe from Black Women in Clinical Research and now also Black Men in Clinical Research. She just announced it today, October 21st. Danielle Coe, Black Women in Clinical Research. If you don't know Danielle, you've got to get to know her. I don't even know when we first crossed paths, Danielle. Um, but welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much, Dan. I feel like you are the clinical trials guru.
Thank you. Thank you. Don't make me blush now.
I just feel like for me to even be on the show, like this is just, I can't even describe it because I used to watch all of your videos. And so now to be kind of, on the other end, it's amazing. And I just thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. You've definitely it's an honor to have you on too. You are doing, and you're not even in my Patreon group. I have like this Patreon thing where people pay $5 a month, and we talk about building your brand and how to do all this stuff. You're doing this this is amazing what you're doing. I think it's so smart. Um, I think you're like a good entrepreneur. I mean, I don't know anything about you in regards to that, but the fact that you are doing this branding with Black women in clinical research and like how quickly you started that and how much it's resonated so far with the community. And I know because I'm obviously not a Black woman in research, so I don't know anything about your group, but I hear from like my students, for example. I have a few business partners in there. They all speak really highly of you. Like they love the community. And it's an honor for me to interview you too, especially with what's going on now. I think it's even more important with this whole minority participation in research and diversity that all the sponsors are talking about. And I had a Instagram post that I put on LinkedIn that did really well that said, "Hey, pharma, you keep talking a good game about wanting more minorities in research. We need more minorities that are actually working in research if you want to attract more minority patients in research. And even if you're a CRA or even if you're like an in-house CRA, that you have no interaction with patients, but the fact that you are Black or Hispanic or Asian, the fact that you work in the industry, you can tell people that you know, chances are they're going to be the same race, right? You can tell people that you know about research because you're in research, you're working in research. So you don't even need to be a coordinator or a PI. Obviously, we need more PIs in the space as well. That's a whole nother topic. But I think what you're doing, Danielle, not only is it smart, because it's extremely smart, but it is very important. This is like the industry needs this. So what kind of feedback have you been getting? And then why did you create this?
So I've been getting really positive feedback. I should say the members in the group have told me that this is a safe space and this is needed and necessary. We have created a community of sisterhood where we empower one another, where we share jobs, where we just make sure that we are uplifting the members in the group and just letting them reach the highest level in the clinical research industry. Because a lot of times you might become complacent in a job and you don't know whether or not you're making the same as your peers. And a lot of times we have these conversations about negotiation, and we offer services like career services, we offer mock interviews, we offer mentorship. So some of the things that is definitely needed when you're entering in the clinical research field. So I started this around 2019. And so I noticed when I was in my clinical research profession that a lot of times I would be the only Black woman in the room, or that it would only be a few of us. I decided, well, let me see if I can make a network or create a network of Black women that can come together and we can share tips. So this really started from a small idea and it has just grown tremendously. We are talking to people in Germany, and I had a meeting with a lady in the UK, and to find out that this, lack of diversity is not just happening here in the United States, but this is a worldwide issue.
It's probably worse in the rest of the world. It's probably best here. believe it or
Yeah.
not.
Definitely, that's what some of the women that I talked to have said, and they have just been reaching out to me, asking me, how can we do the same thing that you're doing here? Like, can you,
Mm,
tell me how you started this? So it really just started from an idea, just kind of, in a sense, stepping
brilliant.
out on faith.
It's brilliant. Like, so what is your career? Like, how did you get into research? Uh, and then you were mentioning like in meetings, you were the only black person in the room. What kind of company is this? Like, what is your role in research and how did you even get started?
So I got started in clinical research because I ran into a college classmate, and she told me about clinical research. I had no idea. I had never heard about clinical research. So when she told me this, I believe I watched one of your videos
Oh,
that
good,
said,
good.
yes, go on clinicaltrials.gov. If you're trying to enter into the clinical, I listened to your videos religiously when
I
I
need to
first
like
started.
split this part out. So what you're saying, Danielle, is I'm going to be like media. What you're saying, Danielle, is the clinical trials guru actually started Black women in clinical research.
In a way,
Indirectly, indirectly.
you definitely ignited, because I used to just watch your YouTube videos over, so the information would, because when you're learning something new, you have to let the information kind of seep in, and so
Yeah.
that's kind of what I did. So I went on clinicaltrials.gov. I found the closest clinical research clinic, and I just called them and I said, "Hey, my name is
Wow, you
Danielle."
did this strategy.
Yes, I said, "Hey, my name is Danielle. I'm interested in being an
Wow, no
intern,
kidding.
or I'm interested in shadowing.
Wait,
Is
wait.
that
So
some?"
you're telling me that you watched this video that because this is a thing I tell people to do. You did that?
Yes.
Okay, so see, people are telling me, "Hey, I'm doing it. It's not working," or they're scared. They're like, "Hey,
Oh,
well, why would I do that?" So you're, I didn't even know this. I didn't know that this is how you got started. This is a great story, Danielle.
that's
So explain
because
more.
so I called them and I asked them if I could do an internship or if I could shadow one of the clinical research professionals, and they told me to come in, and there was no interview. They were just like, "You want it? It's yours." So
Wow.
I stayed there for about 6 months. So I definitely want to let people know it does work. And even if, what one clinic says no, there's another clinic that will say yes. They need
Yeah, if that
people to
clinic
help.
says no, move on. But what did you say exactly? Did you just say I want to intern here, or did you say like, hey, I can recruit patients? What did you say?
I just told them that I wanted to learn more about the operations at a clinical research site. And is it possible that I can have like an internship or shadow one of the clinical research professionals, just so I can learn more about the field and see if this is a career that I'll be interested in?
Wow. Okay, okay. So that's good. And what city and what part of the country is this?
That was in Smyrna, Georgia.
Okay, so like outside of Atlanta, I'm guessing.
Yes, outside of Atlanta.
Wow. Okay. See, Danielle, I mean, we're talking to Danielle who did this strategy. I always tell people, hey, if you're not making that work, because to me, it sounds like I'm a site owner, and if somebody would have called me, I guess it would depend more on my mood. But maybe early on in my site, I would have brought them in. But like later, as we're growing, to me, it sounds like more work. So I would want them to approach me like, hey, I can help recruit patients. I know how to make your social media. I notice you don't have that. So those are other strategies people can do, even though for you, Danielle, it worked well just calling them. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the point is just do it, I guess, and not worry
yeah.
about the strategy so much.
Yeah, definitely thinking outside of the box, because I feel like with clinical research, there's not a cookie cutter way to, do everything. So definitely
Wow.
taking your resources and, networking also with people definitely helps. So from there, I did a 6 month internship. And so I noticed when I was in Atlanta that it was kind of difficult to receive a position as a clinical research coordinator. So I ended up moving back home, and my hometown is Detroit. And so
Okay.
I moved back to Detroit, and I ended up landing a position as a clinical research coordinator in breast oncology. So when that happened, I felt like it was divine intervention. Like this was my calling, because my grandmother had breast cancer, and I've experienced other people in my life that have had cancer. And so for me, I knew that this was what I was supposed to be doing. And so from there, I, created Black Women in Clinical Research, and
Wow.
that's really,
Where
how I got started.
are you still working at that place? The same place?
I am no longer working there.
Okay, so you got your start as like a coordinator, and after the internship, you moved back to Detroit, and you got your start as a coordinator at a breast cancer unit. And then, so what are you doing now? What is your role now?
So I'm a clinical trial coordinator for Cognizant, and that's an assignment with Google. And so my responsibilities are, it's just started, so we're in the beginning phases. So I'm doing a lot of training, but once my training is over, I'm going to be reaching out to the patients and helping them troubleshoot with their
Okay.
devices and just offering
Ah,
support. So I'm switching, because in my previous role, I was in regulatory. So I'm switching more over to the patient side.
wow, Danielle, I want to support your brand even more now that I know your story. Your story was cool. Just the brand itself was cool to support, but now I want to support even more. So, okay, so I didn't even realize Google directly is doing this through Cognizant.
Yeah, so I guess they have like a partnership going on. So
Okay.
they're definitely getting involved in the clinical research.
Wow. Okay. Are you still in Detroit right now? Is that
I
your
am.
area?
I am.
Okay. Okay. And talk about minority participation. I know if like sites, we have some clients that are in Michigan, they get all the studies. The Midwest is like pharma loves the Midwest. Sponsors love the Midwest because there's research naive patients and they
Hmm.
love nothing more than research naive patients. But from what I heard from your story, and I'm really glad I got you on just to get to know you. But what I like about your story is the fact that you're also becoming a generalist in the process. Because look at all the stuff you've been doing that you just mentioned here. I'm sure there's a lot more you didn't even say. You're learning like all different aspects of research, right?
Definitely. Definitely.
So what do you
So
feel about that? Like with people, and I'm sure you're learning even more from the Black women in the research group. Like they're bringing their own experiences from different roles that they're doing. This is an industry of specialists, and in a way that's good. Obviously, it makes sense to have specialists. If you're a company, you want people who know what they're doing on very specific tasks. But it's what people don't really talk about is that's good for the company. It's not necessarily good for the individual because if technology comes in and replaces that specialty, you're done, right? So it's your role. I always tell the people watching the video, especially my students, hey, you're going to specialize. It's going to be your first job. Your job is to become a multi-specialist to the point that you're a generalist because then no technology can replace you. They can't possibly get rid of all those roles. So as long as you have a working knowledge, which is what you already seem to have done in just a few short years.
yeah, definitely.
This is great, Danielle. So when did you start? So, okay, take me back to where you were. So you're talking about at the breast cancer clinic, was the company where you were like the only Black person in the meeting.
Well, so I went to investigator meeting,
Ah,
and
okay.
that's when it just hit me like, I guess, a ton of bricks. And I'm looking around the room and I'm just noticing that it's only me and another woman here, another Black woman. And I'm just like, where are all the Black clinical research professionals? And so, because of that experience, it made me want to seek out to see if there were more Black women in the industry and if they were facing some of the, type of issues that I was facing with
That's
being in
awesome.
the,
So that just the light bulb went off right there for you.
yes,
That was
yes.
like your aha moment. Because I know I talked to Monica. Monica's in the other office. Hey, Monica, if you're here, just swing by real quick. Say hi to Danielle. Monica's Colombian. And we, here in the West Coast, we have a lot of Hispanic. We have a lot of Latinos. This is Danielle Co. She made this
Hi.
group. You got to connect with her on LinkedIn. She made this group called Black Women in Research. And she got the aha moment
Oh,
when she was at an investigator meeting as a coordinator. CRC
yes.
Academy. Shout out to CRC Academy. Free plug. CRC Academy. CRC Academy. Monica, we just talked about this. She went to investigator meeting. She's the only Hispanic person. It's the same thing. right? It's the same thing. Like we need more minority representation first in the workforce, and then that's how you get the patients. Because guess what? Monica is great at recruiting. Go figure. All right, Latino patients. Like,
Oh, who
whoa, that's
who
like
would have
mind.
who would have thought?
Exactly. So I wanted you to meet her because she's like a genius. This is Danielle. She's a
I think I
genius.
actually saw somewhere your black woman in research, or
Yeah,
with Spock or something.
maybe.
Oh, okay.
It's a
They
small world.
on LinkedIn.
It's a small
I
world.
think so.
Yeah.
Danielle
I
Co.
recall that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Danielle Co. She's gonna be a star in this space. You should be speaking. Why are you not speaking at like well, now they're not doing any conferences, but yeah, you need to be going on like a speaking tour.
So
You
maybe
got an agent?
I'll reach out to you to get your help with that, since this is
Okay,
all,
okay.
this is all new territory to me.
We'll
And
get you on there. We'll get you on.
I'm just trying to take it all in. It's just, just kind of putting everything together and kind of, seeing, because I have had people reach out to me. So I'm just trying to go through the necessary steps to get
Good.
Black women out there and so
Good,
people
Danielle.
know about it.
Yeah, congratulations.
Congrats.
That's
Thank you
great.
so much. Thank you so
Genius.
much.
I know someone in your group and I didn't know that she knew about you. So I actually told her, this is my business partner I told you before the air, the one I have a good experience with. So I told her, hey, do you know this lady named Danielle? She has like this Black women in research. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm already in that group. So people know who she is.
Yeah.
Like people I know who have years of research, like she has like a decade of experience
Yeah, I
is in the
recall
group.
seeing your group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
she's doing a Black man in research. And now I got an aha moment for you. Why don't you do a Latina woman in research?
Yay! I'm gonna do
Yeah.
that.
And then we do an
We can,
alliance.
right. We can all come together, because, people that are participating in clinical trials or might possibly be interested in clinical trials, they want
Right.
people that look like them. They want to be able to relate, to the people that's in the industry. And so I've listened to your podcast before, the diversity one, and it just seems like it's so simple. Like, I had a lady who reached out to me, and she told me that, this is a little short story. She told me that her and her mother went to the doctor's office, and she was sitting in the doctor's office with her mother, and she really didn't know what to expect. And in walks a Black woman. And she said she just was so excited that this was a Black doctor that walked in the room that was going to be, helping her mother. And she asked the doctor, can I hug you? Because you don't see that. And so she said she felt more comfortable and at ease that her mother had a Black woman doctor that was going to perform her breast surgery. So it's just, I don't know if people really realize the connection that you have, and how you can relate, and especially if you're Hispanic and you're speaking Spanish, and just that, I can't even say it in words, but just that connection that you have with the person.
Yeah.
It's just,
Community.
it makes it even better.
It's so important. What you're doing is not just, this is what I was telling her, it's not just like a brilliant idea. It's important. So I think this is like, maybe I'll do a Romanian men in research, but I'll be the only member. So that won't be very good.
We know somebody else.
Oh yeah, I do. There'll be two people in there. But no, seriously, like getting minorities, this is and you see the issue I think is that it's not easy to train someone who's research naive, especially like a physician or a clinician, because I'm working with a sponsor right now. Fingers crossed I get the project. We'll know next week, but it's all about this. It's all about getting more minorities, and our strategy is to get more minority clinicians, and it's a lot of work. So I think that's pharma's looking for people to do that because they don't want to do it themselves for a variety of reasons. Number one, they don't know how. Number two, there's like probably liability on their end and conflict of interest, but there are plenty of opportunities for people like us, on this Zoom call to make a difference. And I know one of the guys who interviewed you, Adam Brown from ClinArc, is kind of doing this too. So hats off to you, Danielle. I really love that story.
Thank you. Like, I guess for me, because clinical research was not available in college, And this is all, it always seems like every time I talk to someone, it's something that they stumbled upon. It's not, there wasn't a class, there wasn't, a certificate. People weren't talking about it on the college level. So kind of what Black Women in Clinical Research wants to do is introduce this as, in middle school, in high school, because that's when I developed a love for science. And that's when I kind of made my plan out. When I was in middle school, I'm going to an HBCU. I'm going to go to Clark Atlanta University. Shout out to the Panthers. And so, I made it known that that's what my career choice was going to be. And so I feel like if I had somebody there kind of telling me about the different things that I could do if I wanted to have a bachelor's degree in biology, it would have meant the world of difference, And so that's what I want to do. And also we want to reach out to nonprofit organizations, like the Boys and Girls Club and the Girl Scouts and just Black Girls Rock and different, I think it's the Brown Girl Project, Pretty Brown Girls, and just kind of get the youth, kind of thinking about their possible career. So, it's different. I have different ideas and just really putting it in place and kind of, offering a scholarship to college students, possibly talking to some of the CROs and see if they could recruit the college students at the HBCUs, because, to say that we have a lack of diversity, but then we have all of these historical Black colleges and universities and even other institutions where clinical research is not being discussed, it just kind of, to me, make perfect sense to kind of tie all of that together and just have it like a seamless kind of transaction. You graduate from college, you can do an internship, and then
Danielle,
you go from your internship right into a clinical research coordinator.
Now
you're my hero, Danielle. That's just like we can end the interview. I'll just leave and let Monica talk.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, in our CRC Academy, I will say that we probably have 80% of the students are immigrants, so minorities. And I always tell them that that's something that is going to help so much the industry, because having more minorities bring more minorities to the study.
Definitely. It's like grab a friend. Let's all come together. This is the problem that we have. Let's try and solve it.
Wow. I didn't realize that you're the Black Women in Research, that you're going like at the school level, like high school, middle school, or at least that's the plan if you're not already doing it. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I would have never thought about it. But yeah, and you can get some support. This is why we got to get you on that speaking circuit. First of all, it's a hot topic, so you got to maximize, you got to leverage the situation that we're in as a country. There's a lot of bad stuff going on. It's turbulent, but you got to leverage it for the good, because in your case, that's going to make these corporations want to pay attention to this, and they're looking for people like you.
Definitely. I have ACRP's attention. So
Good.
I just had a phone call with ACRP, and we're kind of talking about a collaboration and trying to see how we can introduce this to more people and that more people know about clinical research.
This is great. So what is the Black Women in Research? Do you guys meet? You meet on Zoom?
So we have our monthly Zoom meetings, and so we just come with different topics. Our last topic that we had earlier this month was everything you wanted to know about being a CRA but were afraid to ask. And so we just have different, and I know a lot of times people, especially the members in the group, everyone knows about the CRA position, but they don't know about the other entry-level positions that they can apply for. So we're really trying to talk about those different positions, because there's more than one way to get in the door.
I think you should do a podcast, Black Women in Research podcast, if you haven't thought of that already. You probably have.
I thought about it because I listened to your podcast, and I'm just like, and then I listened to what is it called? Clinical Research Fast Track podcast also.
Okay.
So, they have like a podcast that's 15 minutes. And so I just kind of, I people have told me, go ahead and do a podcast.
You
And I'm like,
have to,
okay.
Danielle. But knowing you for I've only known you for 30 minutes, like actually talked to you. I know you on LinkedIn, but we haven't engaged that much. But yeah, I can already tell that you definitely should be doing this for sure. This is very important. And what is your goal like as a professional in this space, just personally, outside of Black women in research? Like what where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I guess in 5 years, where do I see myself? I just see myself continuously trying to make a footprint in the clinical research. I'm very passionate about helping people. And, I feel like it's better to give than it is to receive. And so like what I feel when I help, someone, it's indescribable when you receive that thank you, or someone tells you, if it hadn't been for you, I would have never heard about this opportunity. I never would have got this job. So it's just continuously being that support for creating this family type of atmosphere, because it can be challenging, entering in the clinical research industry. So I just want to be that support system for people.
That's good.
I'm gonna add you right now to
Yeah, you got to be connected. I'm sure you're connected already. It's Danielle Coe, like gonna be a household name pretty soon, and she's got a great name, Danielle.
Yes, right.
Wow. Okay. So I guess that it covers a lot. I mean, diversity. We got to have you come on again, and I know I'll probably come on Black women in clinical research anytime. I just want a T-shirt. I want a T-shirt.
Oh, you want a T-shirt?
Yes.
So do you want me to wait till I get the Black men in clinical research T-shirt, or do
No,
you
I'll
want
take the Black women. I'll take the Black
Okay,
women.
you'll take the Black women. Oh, okay, because my funny story. My father, he really supports me and everything, but he said I don't really know about the T-shirt. I don't. It's like I support you and I'll buy some stuff to go in my office, because we also sell merchandise, so we have like book bags.
Oh, that's cool.
Here. Yeah, we have a book bag.
You already get the merch. Oh, that's nice. Look at that. I love the logo.
Yeah. So it's like I'm not ready to wear the T-shirt just yet.
Yeah,
the fact that you're a man and that you want to wear the T-shirt, that's awesome.
I'll wear it. I'll wear it on the Zoom call that we do with your group. Now, the Black man in research, same concept, right? Same exact blueprint.
Same
concept. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. Oh, okay, Monica. Yeah.
Bye, Monica. It was nice meeting you.
She's gonna go connect with you. That's cool. So diversity. So this is obviously something that's just beginning. I think the industry's been talking about this for a long time, maybe 5 years from what I remember. But this year, this is 2020. For those watching in the future, hopefully we made it out okay. But this is hopefully the worst is behind us. But you never know. This year really sparked, like, I mean, obviously, social justice, diversity, opportunity of equality of opportunity, right? Equal opportunity. All those kind of things came to the forefront this year, and it's trickled down into every industry. I mean, I'm sure somebody's doing a real estate guru right now, and they're talking about we need more Black realtors to get more Black people to be homeowners, right? I mean, I can easily see that being an issue. So this stuff is trickling into our industry because it's super important, obviously, clinical research. How are we going to get treatments, and how are we going to know that they even work on minorities if the minorities are not participating in research? So this is like potentially life and death stuff. It's not like just, we're not doing this, or the industry doesn't want to do this just because it looks good. This is like real stuff. So you're playing a huge role in this, Danielle. I can't wait to follow your career more. And now that we know each other, get to network with one another, and pick each other's brains. I hate that term, pick each other's brains, but everyone uses it. So pick each other's brains. What has been the feedback so far? How long have you been doing the Black women, like the Zoom? Let's take the Zoom calls. How long have you been doing those?
So this is our second month. We started in September.
Okay.
And so we just, we're trying to expand, and we know that it's really needed and necessary, because last Zoom call we had almost 100 people that were on the call.
100. Zoom's
Yes.
gonna start charging you extra for all these people.
So we had people that joined from Africa. We had men that joined. Like, we had men that reached out and said, I'm not a woman. Can I join? And we had to let them know this information is for everyone. So,
Yeah.
all of the CRAs, they went over their experience. And we also have the video up on our YouTube channel. And so a lot of the CRAs, they went over their experience, how to be a CRA and be a mom,
cool.
and, have a family, and kind of juggling, being a CRA and traveling, and,
Yeah.
just kind of everything that a CRA would deal with, how to stay organized, and, it's just, and how they got started. They talked about their journey, and, it's because a lot of people have different backgrounds. Most of the women had biology degrees, but it was one lady, she was a business major, and she was able to become a CRA. So, a lot of times people think, okay, I have to have a science background, and you don't have to have a science background.
Nope.
So, it's just kind of figuring out, the right tools and using the right resources to get into the clinical research field. And so that's what we're trying to do too. And so we also, within our group, we have doctors, we have VPs, we have PhD students, we have just undergraduate students, we have people that have never been in clinical research. So we just have a wide variety of different people that are in the group and that are looking for that support. And so it really has that family atmosphere. Like, if one of the members posts, say, hey, I need help in, whatever area, everyone that has that information will come to the post and offer advice, hey, do you need a referral? It really doesn't matter what it is. We have really created this support and sisterhood, and I couldn't be more proud. Like, I tell the ladies that, and the ladies and the members in the group, that you guys are my family that I never met. And, because it's just so necessary when you're in a career, and especially with clinical research, to have that support. And it just has made a tremendous difference. And ladies have reached out to me. They've sent me messages. They posted, and they're just pretty much saying, thank you so much for creating this safe space where I can ask questions, that I normally wouldn't be able to ask. And it's just thanking me. And I'm just overwhelmed with the support. And it means a lot to me just
That's
to
awesome.
have that.
That's awesome, Danielle. Like, I'm so happy for you hearing your story. And like I said, I want to support even more now that I know the origin stories behind this. But I see this, and you're probably already thinking big, but I see like you starting your own conference, Black Women in Research Conference, and all this kind of stuff. Like, this is a movement, Danielle.
Definitely. I said the exact thing. It's a movement. So we are talking about having a conference next year. So majority of the members in the group are from North Carolina, Texas, Atlanta. So we're looking at those different places to have a conference. And
North Carolina, shout out to my brother. He lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't get out there that often. Coast to coast is tough, but he's out there. I go out there every now and then.
Yeah, so we just want to, have that conference where, because we've met virtually, but, because of COVID and everything, we haven't had a chance to come together and have a conference and just kind of learn more about each other, maybe learn some new tips, learn some negotiation skills, because there's a lot of qualified members in the group and that have years of experience. And so, just taking to the highest level possible in your clinical research career. And, a lot of times you have to have that person that motivates you and tells you, hey, you have this experience. You are a professional. You are an expert in the field. Apply for that management position. Apply for that director position, and sometimes you receive that support and you're like, okay, I can do this. And so that's kind of, how we have been trying to support the ladies.
Or sometimes it's the opposite, they need like a little encouragement. Like, how many people direct message me, and a lot of them are African Americans. There's some that are like Asian, all whites, all races. They reach out, they're like, hey, my CRO I'm working for is treating me so bad. And I'm like, okay, well, how many years do you have experience? They say like, I have like 8 years of experience. And I say, you are out of your mind if you continue to stay there. you know how like everybody wants you?
Yep.
Everybody, literally everybody would hire you and probably get paid more and treat you better. So like sometimes people just need a nudge. I know exactly what you're talking about. Not just to go for it, but also sometimes to quit your current place and go somewhere else.
Right. Go where you are appreciated, not tolerated.
Mm-hmm. And you have even one layer above that. Like me, I'm just like motivate them. You have a support system now with Black women in research where it's not just you Danielle telling somebody what to do. It's like 100 other people are saying the same thing. You know, so I get what you're doing. This is a fantastic idea. Monica's gonna do Latina. I guarantee you, she's this is like in her head now. That's why I brought her in because I'm like, this is a brilliant idea. We need this. We need more of this. She's probably going to talk to you about that too. We should
Okay, no
collab,
problem.
do
We
it
can definitely
together or
collab.
something.
I guess the more minorities that we can bring,
Hmm.
into clinical research, the better. The better, like we
Asians
can
too.
increase
Asians are
clinical.
super underrepresented also from study participant. We have to look at the data, but like Asian Americans are like probably the most underrepresented. I think they also make like the least amount of the population. But yeah, I mean, it's everywhere across the board. Like we have to look at the numbers to actually see, but the more minorities we can actually have participate in research as like a workforce, the more we can let the community know of patients, hey, you know, the clinical research is safe. It's not like you're a guinea pig because you go talk to like anybody on the street right now and tell them, like, hey, I have a study for you. Like it's almost like they're going to look at me like I'm trying to kidnap them or like
Right.
poison them or something, right? And it's like the furthest thing from the truth. But there's like a stigma. And I mean, for white people too, like, you know, we just need more people who understand research in the space to tell the community about it. We just happen to need more minorities, much more minorities participants in research than we do anything else.
Yeah, so maybe having like a patient advocacy forum where people can hear from other people that participated in clinical trials and some of their outcomes that they had.
Yeah.
Because that's when I went to a patient advocacy forum and it just blew my mind that the people that were participating in the clinical trials, they became an expert on their disease. They knew exactly what clinical trial they could participate in. They had a list of all of they were like the doctors. They knew exactly what they needed and everything. And it just blew my mind from hearing from the patient perspective. So I think having more of those patient advocacy forums where other people, who might be interested in clinical trials can hear from other patients and just putting like
You know, that's
a
true.
face, putting a
That's
face to
true.
it, and just hearing about it in a community type of way, and because they talked about the cost of treatment and some of the resources that they can use if they're in with their treatment. So a lot of this
Yeah.
information was valuable, and you even heard from people who said, I can't afford my treatment. Like, what can I do? I need these resources now. And so they were able to connect with that person and give them the resources that they
Hmm.
need so they could continue their treatment. So it just really opened my eyes and how the community came together in that forum, and they broke everyone off into groups. So if everyone went to like breast cancer and like prostate cancer, so everyone was broken up into different rooms, and they got to talk to the doctors in the field. And so it was a group of women, and they asked the doctor questions. They're saying, oh, I have triple negative breast cancer. What can I do? What clinical trial can I participate in? So it just pretty much opened my eyes to see that that's the type of forum that we need to have on a consistent basis, not something that happens like once a year, but something that happens
So
more
true.
often where the community can hear about it. So, it has to be a common conversation.
So
It can't
true.
be a taboo conversation, or, trying to gain people's trust with, because anytime I mention clinical research, my family, the first thing they say is, what about the Tuskegee syphilis study? And so, my family telling me we haven't forgot. And so until we can kind of have those hard conversations and talk about what happened in the past and what has changed so that we can move forward in how we have moved forward in the future. And a lot of people don't know about the consenting process. So I think if we talked about the consenting process and how the risks are in there, and how, if you choose to participate in the clinical trial, you can, but if you choose not to, there's not going to be any consequences. You can choose not to participate at any time. So I think if we have those conversations and people kind of know the process and what happens, then that will also bring more people into, participating in clinical trials.
Absolutely. I mean, very well said. And all these conferences I used to go to, because pharma has jumped on this bandwagon too, and I bet you they're going to start doing it now with minorities. But at like every big conference I've been to in the last couple of years, one of the pharmas or one of the IRBs or somebody always has like a patient influencer. I think they would call them, can't remember the term, but basically it's like an influencer that's a patient that is supposed to get the word out to other patients, and they even involve them in protocol design. But you know what? Come to think of it, I just thought of this now interviewing you. All these they call them patient advocates. All
Mhm.
these advocates that I've personally met and I've gotten them to like sign their book and give me their books. They're all of them have been white people from what I've met. So we're on the right track, but now we need to bring in minorities as well and have patient influencers. Because talking to you, I didn't even think of those things before. Like, I just saw, okay, this is a patient. I didn't really look what color they are. But talking to you, I'm looking back and thinking they were all white people. All these patients were
Yeah.
white people. So there's a lot you can do, Danielle. I'm really pumped for you. Like, this is a really good thing that you're doing, and very smart. So it was an honor, Danielle, to interview you. We're definitely gonna have you on multiple times. Okay, we'll schedule you regularly, and I want to follow your career and all that stuff. So if anyone wants to get a hold of you, I'll put your LinkedIn link underneath the video and in the show notes. But where else do you want them to go, or is it LinkedIn that they should go?
LinkedIn is the best place, but with our group, if you're interested in joining the group, you can join that on Facebook. But we also have one on LinkedIn also, but the one on Facebook is more active. And so I'm also on Instagram, BWICR20. I'm trying to venture out and get on Snapchat and TikTok, but
I don't think Snapchat's worth it. Maybe they just had a good quarter today. They had actually reported really strong earnings today, so maybe there's some life there. I noticed for me, the Snapchat has died down. TikTok, maybe. We don't know if they're gonna be banned. But yeah, I mean, just try. It doesn't hurt to try, I guess.
right, having multiple different, avenues of reaching people, kind of reaching people on their level, because it seems like everybody's on Snapchat and TikTok. So
That's right.
yeah, just trying to, get out there. But yeah, LinkedIn, Danielle Esco. Website is www.bwicr.com. And we have merchandise. Like you said, you would wear one of the shirts if anybody interested.
Right. I'm wearing one. Yeah. And thank you, Danielle. I really appreciate it. And I think you're doing a really good thing. Thank you to everybody watching and listening. And we're going to do more with Danielle. So just stay tuned and then go to her YouTube channel, because I'll probably be on Black Women in Clinical Research one of these months. And we're going to do something for you guys. All right.
Well, thank you so much, Dan, for having me. It's definitely an honor. I never thought that I would be on this side speaking with you. So I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you, Danielle. The honor is mine, seriously. And keep doing what you're doing. And thank you very much. And thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. And we'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.